Hey ChemCom, this is Mr. D talking to you about dimensional analysis, the main part of Chapter 3C. Dimensional analysis is a fancy way of calling it unit conversion. So basically, when you talk about dimensional analysis, we're talking about unit conversion. But we are going to use the proper words, so dimensional analysis it is. This is math guided by canceling units. It looks like what you're about to see. You'll start with a number times line, then other numbers times line, and other numbers. And the goal is to cancel a unit that you had with the unit below. That is the point of this math. And then the unit above cancels the unit below until we get to the unit that you want. Now notice the green 5,280 feet is 1 mile. Yeah, that's true. 5,280 feet is a mile. Just like 24 inches is 2 feet. So each of these fractions are equal, but they have different units arranged so that they cancel, so that our math is great, easy, and correct every time. Now, if you take a look at this, remember, we're getting rid of our units until we get to the thing we want. You're going to first put the known in your calculator. That's the thing the problem gives you, in this case 57. You will then multiply the top and divide the bottom. It doesn't matter what order you do this in as long as you multiply top and divide bottom. So the multiply will be the 5,280 and the 24, and the divide will basically be the 2. You can ignore the 1 because multiplying by 1 and dividing by 1 does nothing, but if you want to put it there, it's not going to hurt you. You then want to round to 2 decimals if needed, but for this case, we did not need to round because 57 miles is an awful lot of inches. Now we're going to look at this problem here, 11.5 centimeters per inch. So we're going to do this with the following steps that are given to you. First off, you need to do these 3 steps right away, automatically, without any hesitation. That is critical. You have to do that step right away. So I'm going to grab my blue pen, and I'm immediately going to do 11.5 centimeters times line and bring centimeters down right away. Don't wait, don't hesitate, just do it. You then want to make sure you put your new unit on the top of the line and grab the numbers from the equalities. Use the back of your periodic table and or your brain in order to do this. So I am going to use the back of my table, which says centimeters does go to inches. Every 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters. So I'm definitely going to want to get that set up right away. Then you're going to multiply the top and divide the bottom. So I'm going to do 11.5 divided by 2.54. Hopefully you were following along with me when you did that. And if you do that, you will have an answer. And this answer will be, well, it'll have a lot of decimals. In this case, we will have 4.527 559, and there's more, but I really don't care because our last step is our proper rounding. When we round, we want to round to 2 decimal places. So what I want to do here is I want to go my whole numbers to my 2, and then I want to look at the third. In this case, the third is a 7, so it is above a 5, so 5 or above gives it a shove, meaning my final answer will be 4.53. And remember, it's that unit there. Centimeters cancel, inches are left, so I will have inches. I then want to make sure I put this in a box so that my teachers can see it and give me all the grades that I want. Now remember, the work is more important than the answer. You better have your units, you better use times line, and if you do, you will find that this type of math is one of the most useful things that we teach you. This example was 1 step. Stay tuned for 2 or more steps. Good luck. So now I'm going to go to 2 or more steps. 2 or more steps will need 2 or more steps. So like we did before, the first thing that we are going to do is take whatever our known is, whatever the problem gives us, and we're going to write it down. We're going to times line, and we're going to bring the unit down right away. Now, we are going to change this unit to something else to get to milliliters. In this case, we cannot go directly to milliliters just because there's no easy equality to go from gallons to milliliters. So after I times line, I do not want to put the thing above until I look up stuff. Now, a gallon can go to many things, and one of the things it can go to is it can go to quarts. Every 4 quarts is a gallon. Now, we need more than this. Quarts is not what we're looking for. We're looking for milliliters. So what I can do is times line, and I can change quarts to something else. And if I sit there and take a look at it, I see that for every quart, for every 1.06 quarts, there is 1 liter. You can see this on the back of your periodic table. Now, as I take a look at this, I now have liters. Well, liters is not what I want. I want milliliters. But if I look in the metric section of my table, as I bring liters down, I can change that to milliliters very easily. 1,000 milliliters is equal to 1 liter. So I take my calculator and I punch in 1.53 times 4 divided by 1.06 times 1,000 equals. And I get an answer. This is my first answer to this question, which I will round to 2 decimal places because that is what I've been instructed to do. So that is going to be 5 I cannot read my own calculator, it seems, 8. And then the next number is a 4, and I don't care about that, so I'm just going to stop it there, milliliters. Now, there's other ways we could do this. I could have gone, okay, 1.53 gallons times line, gallons down, and I could have changed that to liters. Liters would be 3.79 liters per gallon. And then after I did that, I could go do that milliliter to liter step. Liters down, milliliters up. Again, we want them to cancel, so liters go down. 1 liter for 1,000 milliliters. And when I have this one, I will see that my answer is a little different. 1.53 in the calculator times 3.79 times 1,000 equals. And I see that this number is 5798.7 milliliters. So you may ask yourself, Mr. D, which is correct? And the answer is both of them. They are both correct for the purposes of this class. Now, technically, less steps is better, but both work. So both are good. So as long as your work backs up your answer, chances are you're going to be okay. Whether it takes you 1 step, 2 steps, 5 steps, 7 steps, just make sure you don't give up. Good luck, and we're going to be doing word problems next, so feel free to stay tuned. Okay, for word problems. So we're going to get off of here and we're going to go into our word problems. So first off, word problems have some steps. We need equalities set up as fractions so the unwanted units will cancel until the desired unit or unknown is reached. We want to mark up our problem. The unknown should be near a question word, and we want to put a question mark by that. The equalities will connect the known with the unknown. We want to check for pers, each, everys, or in us. And we want to underline these equalities, and we want to have our known, which we want to put a box around. So we are going to box our known, underline our equalities, and we are going to put a question mark by our unknown, so that way we can find it. So these are how we're going to mark our problem. But once we mark our problem, we then need to solve it. So start with the known value like you did. Place the unit of the known below the line, just like you did. Carry down more units as you go, and use those equalities to fill in the proper numbers. Use the equalities from the problem first, then find missing equalities using your periodic table. Make sure all unwanted units cancel. And as long as you do this, you'll have your problem set up well. Enter the known value into your calculator. Multiply top, divide bottom, like this helpful graphic shows. But do ask yourself, does the answer make sense? See that it has the right units, and sometimes that known can be hard to find, which is a huge deal. So if you get stuck, just ask your teachers. Sometimes we'll just dock you half a point and show you where it is, but at least then you can do the whole question and get like all 4 of the other points. So it is worth it if you can't find it to ask for help. If not, just do your best and hopefully you will be fine. But also be careful, because sometimes that known value could have been an earlier answer. So an answer to an old problem could be your known for a new problem. Now let's take a look at this example word problem that we have here. Okay, the first thing I am going to do is I am going to put a question mark by what I'm looking for. And in this case, I am looking for inches. So question mark inches, that's what I'm looking for. I then want to see if there's any equalities here, anything that says each 4. But look, I got this, 57 miles for every 2 gallons of gas. So that's going to get an underline. I will not start with either of those numbers. That's going to be a fraction that I use later, which means that what I'm starting with is this 4 gallons. It is just a number and a unit that's not directly connected to anything. It's also the only number in the unit left, so boom, totally my known value. Going to write 4 gallons down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I've been doing. Times line, I bring gallons down right away. And if you see, right here in the problem, we see that every 2 gallons can become 57 miles. But we're not done. See, that's miles. We don't want miles, we want inches. So we're going to use our periodic table. We'll bring miles down, and we can change miles to feet. You could also change it to kilometers, but feet will be more useful because feet and inches go together nicely. So 5,280 feet is equal to a mile. But we aren't done yet because we don't want feet. No, we want inches. So for every foot, there is 12 inches. Now you'll find that this may not be on the back of your periodic table. Because see, this part we got from the problem. The other part we got from the table. But sometimes you need to use your brain to be able to figure it out. There's that eye. Okay. Big eye. There we go. Now, when we do this, gallons cancel, miles cancel, feet cancel, and we're left with inches, which is what we want. So we have that. So I take my calculator, 4 times 57, divide 2 times 5280, skip the 1 times 12, skip the 1 equals. And oh boy, is this a big number. But that makes sense because we're talking about 4 gallons of gas and inches. So 7223040 inches, that kind of makes sense. It's a big number from 4 gallons of gas. So that's an example word problem. Now, when we talk about this, you will notice that on the document, the slides we've shared with you, you can actually see this as it goes. Talks about inches being the unknown, talks about that being the equality, that's our known. This is our work, notice problem table brain, and that is our answer. So if you need, you can always check online to the resources we give you, and hopefully that'll help you. Good luck, ChemCom. Take care.